Okay, this is going to briefly go over intake and output calculations. So calculating intake. So this is anything and everything that goes into the human body, either through food and oral liquids, either through tube feedings, or IV fluids. Now, when we're calculating ice chips, that takes up more volume in the cup than there's actually liquid volume. So we estimate and calculate the ice chips volume as half that volume. So a cup of ice chips is actually going to be calculated as a half cup of ice, because when it melts, it's not going to take up that much volume. Calculating output is everything that comes out of the body. So urine, so we're going to need to empty the bedpan, the urinal, the Foley catheter, any drains, ostomy bags, NG tubes, and urine collection hats. That's everything that's coming out of the body. Emesis and diarrhea also we're going to calculate as output. Now calculating the difference. So we're going to take that everything that we have added up for our intake and everything that we have added up for our output. So make sure that for your calculations for your input and your output that you are coming to the same units. So if you're using it in milliliters and cups and ounces, that you're using it the same and converting it to the same units throughout. So intake, then you're going to minus your output. That's going to give you a number. If that number is positive number, then you have more input than output, which means that the body is retaining, that somehow it has not kicked out as much as it's supposed to. So we need to look at things. We need to start looking at heart failure, kidney failure, things like that. Why are they retaining that fluid? Whereas if we take that intake minus output and we get a negative number, that means that we have more output than we did input. So is this because we're diuresing them, or is this because the patient is dehydrated? We need to look further into these matters. So it's very important when calculating intake and output that we know everything that goes in the body and everything that comes out, especially those clients that are on strict intakes and outputs. So this is an example of a positive calculation. So intake, we have oral fluid of 700, IV fluids of 1250. An 8-hour intake total is going to be 1950. Now our output is going to be through urine of 940. They vomited 50, and our 8-hour output total is 990. So then we're going to take 1950 minus 990. And that's going to give us a positive balance of 960. So 960 milliliters has not been accounted for. We need to go assess our patient to see if they are retaining this fluid or if we just missed something on our calculations. An example of a negative calculation is going to be this one. So all our intake, our total is going to be for the 8-hour day, 580 milliliters, whereas our output is 1040. So 580 minus 1040 gave us a negative 460, which means we put out more 460 milliliters more than we put in. And again, we need to go assess our patient and find out what is the reason for this.